Hello and welcome to the SEGA Nerdcast, episode 58. I am Chris, the editor of SEGA Nerds, and with me this week are Blake and Kopke.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Good afternoon.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Good night.
Nice.
It's
doing pretty good. Doing pretty well.
Warm day here in Maryland, Sunday afternoon. Excited. Graham isn't going to join us this week, thankfully, because he's watching the World Cup in London, England, Ontario, Alberta, Canada. He's going to some, I guess the World Cup is I don't know, a thing that people are excited about these days. I think it's going on right now, but we, instead of watching some stupid soccer game, Kopke doesn't want to watch that. He wants to be here doing the Nerdcast. Is that right, Kopke?
Yeah, but the World Cup is after we finish the Nerdcast, so I'm kind of safe on that line.
I didn't tell you this is going to be a marathon Nerdcast, 5 hours long.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I can still have the TV at the side, and you're going to be watching me scream like, go!
If you promise to get drunk, I will stick around for those 5 hours.
Oh man, you know what? I'm really trying to go back and not drink as much. So I have my Game of Thrones a coffee mug right here, and then I have a mason jar full of iced tea. So that's what I'm going to be drinking today. And if I run out, I might end up drinking some beer. We'll make no promises, but I'm trying to stay off the alcohol during the show because towards the end of the show, I just stop caring about whatever's happening, and I just start blurting nonsense. And
towards the end of the show. The end of the show.
it gets pretty quick there. But
yeah.
Anyway, let's go around the room real quick. Talk about what we've been up to. Kopke, why don't you start us off first? Let us know what you've been up to, buddy.
Yeah, I've been working a lot, like always, and making some illustration stuff. Also with Pepe Jeans, and starting a new project soon. Aside from that, I've been watching the World Cup, as you've been saying. I didn't like the last games because I think the referees have been rigging the games, which is not cool for the people that are watching this. And aside from that, I went searching on old boxes that I had, and I found some of my old Sega Genesis games, ones I didn't realize I still had. We will get to that when we get to the what we've been playing part. But yeah, I've been pretty much working and stuff like that, watching the games. That's it.
Awesome. Blake, what about you?
There's not really much to say on my end. I've been working, catching up for the long weekend we had this last weekend, so little things to catch up on, caught up on most of it. I've got a class I'm starting next week as I'm getting out of the military soon, so there's just a stack of classes you got to take, and this is one of the first ones, so not really looking forward to it, but you know, it eats a week, and maybe I'll learn something.
I am very much looking forward to the day that I can retire from the military. Can't wait for that to happen. So.
Yeah. My wife and I have been talking about reserve, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I haven't been doing a whole lot, but the wife and I, her friend told her about this estate sale yesterday, and there was like all sorts of this awesome 80s toys and stuff there. And I tweeted it out yesterday, and I retweeted it with the SEGA Nerds account. So if you follow us on Twitter, you may have seen it. But anyway, we went there, and there was so much amazing He-Man, Transformers, and GoBots figures there. The stuff wasn't priced incredibly well. I think it was like a company that comes in and runs the estate sale like on behalf of the family. So I think they went on like eBay to price a lot of things. So there wasn't great deals there. But there was something there that I had as a child, and I could not leave without. And I'll show you guys to the camera. These are the Constructicons that you see here. And this is like the old Gen 1 Constructicons. And when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of the Transformers. My older brother did. And he would very rarely ever let me play with his Transformers. And so I think it was like one Christmas, my mom, it got me all the Constructicons. And I was so excited because everyone was jealous of me because they could transform and you could combine them to make Devastator, which is this giant Transformer. And so everyone is really jealous that I could have the big Constructicons or Devastator, and this was like my only thing I ever had that my older brother was jealous of, and I don't remember what ended up happening to them. He probably broke them when I was a kid, but I saw them and had to get them, and I'm really, really stoked about it. My wife ended up getting a She-Ra doll, and they had we didn't get there in time. It was sold out, unfortunately, but they had She-Ra's castle and also She-Ra's horse that she rode. I can't remember what it was called. It was like Windstreamer or something gay like that. Like my wife knows the name, Starstreaker, Cloud Spinner, or something stupid. But she got the She-Ra doll, and I got Hordak, which was Skeletor's mentor. Right? Thank you. You can see him like if you look back there. He's
no, you can't.
You can see his head. He's hanging out with Treebeard back there on my shelf.
Okay.
Him and She-Ra are.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I got him, and I got Metroid 2 on Game Gear for $6, which was a pretty good deal. Return of Samus. I remember getting this game when I was a kid. Back then, we would collect Kool-Aid points. I don't know if that was big for you guys. Collecting Kool-Aid points, you can cash them in to earn some like cool prizes. And we saved up all summer long, literally drank Kool-Aid nonstop. Our teeth were rotting out of our mouths, but we saved up enough points to get Metroid 2. But the thing was, the way that they worded it in the Kool-Aid catalog, it made it sound as if you would get a Game Boy and Metroid 2 Return of Samus. So we were super excited. We were super excited to finally earn enough points, and we sent off for it. And back then, you have to wait like 6 months. There's just something ridiculous for all of it to get processed and sent to you. So finally, weeks and weeks later, a package came in the mail from Kool-Aid, and we opened it up. So excited because we were going to be able to play Metroid on our brand new Game Boy. We opened it up, and it was just Metroid. And we did not have a Game Boy, so we were super, super bummed. But fortunately, my parents were really cool, and they went out and got us a Game Boy. So I did get to play it, and so yeah, this estate sale was really, really amazing, just because there was so much of my old childhood there. I also they had Slag, which was one of the
Dinobots.
Yeah, he was a Triceratops. He was for $20 though, and it didn't come with anything else. Like, it was just him. I looked online and I saw some stuff on eBay, and you could get them for like $15 free. So I kind of I did the good thing and didn't just go out and buy a bunch of stuff. But I had to get the Constructicons. I got Metroid and I got Hordak, and the wife got She-Ra, and we were pretty excited about that. So. And someone just came on. That was kind of weird. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I ended up inviting people to the show. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's because you share the link to the Hangout, but not the link to the video.
That's weird. No, 'cause I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, you tweeted that on the Sega Nerds account.
Oh crap! I did. No, I thought I tweeted the YouTube page.
No, you tweeted the Hangout invitation.
Whoops. Well, hey,
I retweeted it. Let me.
Stop joining us. You're not supposed to just come onto the show like that. What kind of place this is? One day we'll accept.
No, they should. They just crash it. That'd be awesome.
That happened to us one time.
That would be so awesome.
That happened before, and Grandma and I just rolled with it. It was some this girl that just joined the show. We're like, all right, just hang out, and we just did the show. So anyway, let's get going on to the rest of the show. That got me kind of flustered a little bit. Let's get into some news. Blake, why don't you take us into some news?
We'll start with Sonic Jump Fever, released this week for iOS and Android. I think it was already out in Canada or some other markets. But now we can play in the United States as if you have iOS 7 on your phone, which I don't, and I don't plan on upgrading it anytime soon because it sucks. But it's the sequel to the Sonic Jump, which I don't think that was free to play. This new one is free to play, and you basically it's sort of like an endless runner, except it's an endless jumper. You jump straight up, collect things. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I haven't really spent that much time with the first one, so the second one seems like it's an upgrade of that one.
That's pretty much it.
Free to
yeah,
play.
I mean,
okay.
I'm showing a video here for those watching.
Okay.
But yeah, you just kind of keep jumping. You control it via the tilt function in your phone. So there's nothing like really with your thumbs that you're moving around so much. But you can double tap it for a double jump, and there's some like touch functionality there. Not a whole lot. I played it a little bit, but I have to be honest. After playing Sonic Dash as much as I have, I'm kind of burnt out on these free-to-play mobile games at the moment. I've never been huge on them to begin with, but look at Craig up there, #1 on the leader charts. Fucking Craig. So yeah, I don't know. It's free to play. I saw some of the way that they try to get you to purchase stuff, like the microtransactions, the ability to level up your character, those kind of things. It really reminded me a lot of Sonic Dash. So if you like that kind of thing, and you are looking for maybe a different type of gameplay with Sonic on your phone, this might be it.
I would try it if I had iOS 7, and at some point I'll have to just download it. But I just don't like the interface.
Why don't you just download it? Oh, you don't like the interface?
I don't like the way it looks. Yeah, it just bugs me. So I'm an old crotchety man that likes the way things are when they are the way they are.
Why don't you
I don't want to change it.
Why don't you get an Android, man? Join the revolution.
No. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna.
Then you could race as Android Sonic on Sonic Dash, which I can do.
Yeah, that looked cool.
Yeah, that's still not gonna happen.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Fantasy Zone 2 is a new 3D classic announced for Japan. That follows on Fantasy Zone 1 and Afterburner, I think, were the other two that have been released in Japan. It's got different versions of the game in it. It's got the Mark III version of the game, the Master System version, and the System 16 arcade version, which is really cool. And if we ever get it here, that'd be fantastic. So we're just going to sit back, wait. We can talk about it. Fantasy Zone 2 is actually the first Fantasy Zone game I ever played. I played that one before I played the first one. It's hard as balls, but it's awesome, and I do hope we get it over here.
Yeah, I never played this game, so I would like to play this game.
I did play the arcade one, the System 16 one, and it's really amazing. I really love the graphics of it, and the story is kind of weird. You have to establish the system economy, and you have also to battle like a Neville twin of Opa Opa, and then meet his father. It's kind of weird, but the gameplay is really nice.
Opa Hopa and his father issues.
Yeah, I know they changed the way.
I hate you, Dad!
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, Blake.
That's okay. Yeah, I know they changed the way the shops work between the first game and the second game, and the way you travel between different areas of the world. I think it's easier to get from place to place faster in the second one. So anyway, I really hope they both come over here. I'm trying to buy all the ones that we get here already, so that way they will see that people are spending money on it. I'm not sure how many people are buying these things. If you go online to the eShop and look at the ratings, it doesn't seem that at least some of them are selling all that well, such as like Altered Beast. Doesn't seem to be selling all that well. Sonic does. But it's hard to get metrics on that sort of thing with these digital download games.
Yeah, which is kind of sad because the games, these 3D ports were really, really well done.
Oh, yeah.
Outstanding, I might say. M2 really pulled it out.
Yeah. The most recent one I was playing was Streets of Rage. I had that one, and I thought this is going to be kind of dumb in 3D, but actually there's some pretty interesting spots where they touched up the 3D on it, and I was like, oh, okay. That actually works really well, and I was actually really impressed. I hope we get Streets of Rage 2, because that is by far and beyond the better game. But, you know, I mean, if you're just going to play one, Streets of Rage 1 is still great.
There are rumors that it's Streets of Rage 2 and Golden Axe is
Yeah, that makes sense.
3D treatment.
Yeah, both of those definitely make sense.
Yeah.
Sonic 2 makes sense also, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Alright. Let's see. Alien Isolation. We can talk about that. Pre-order stuff coming for Alien Isolation. It's going to feature the original cast, including everybody pretty much. Sigourney Weaver. There's the one guy. Who's the one that's missing? The guy that plays the Hobbit.
Ian Holm?
Okay, yeah, he's missing, right? So they don't have him back for some reason. He's busy doing other things. But
He's busy being Bilbo, man.
Yeah. So he's got better things to do, but the whole rest of the cast doesn't. So they're back to recreate some of their old stuff for, you know, your GameStop exclusive content. Well, one of the two things is GameStop exclusive, right? So, yeah. Okay, so there's 2 episodes coming. One if you pre-order, a second one if you pre-order at GameStop. If you're mad about it, I'm sure you can pay for it later. Just drop the $5 somewhere. They're not going to not release this for purchase some other time, so I don't think it's really worth getting that bent out of shape over. I know we all hate GameStop, but you're going to get a chance to play it.
There is no way whatsoever that SEGA put out the money to get these actors to return, because I'm going to tell you it was not cheap to do this. And only to offer it as solely a pre-order. You know what I mean? This is going to definitely be available at some point in the future. But I want to talk to you guys. I mean, this. So it's essentially 2 missions that you're going to be able to get to go back and play some of these and see some of these classic characters from the movie and everything. So I want to talk to you guys about the idea of this pre-order incentive. I mean, do you think this does this make you want to go out and pre-order the game more than you would have before?
Not specifically. I mean, I was going to buy the game anyway in Steam, and actually watching that the pre-order bonus is also on Steam, and definitely didn't buy it. So yeah, it's like a plus for a game that I've been expecting to buy.
Sigourney Weaver looks so hot in this movie. I always have been really attracted to Sigourney Weaver in the Alien movies. The only thing that I was writing on Twitter last week, and I hoped that SEGA and the Creative Assembly would bring out some DLC alternate costumes for the characters, and they would allow you to have Sigourney Weaver in her awesome 80s grandma panties that she had in the first movie. I love those underwear. I've been trying to find some for my wife. I've literally looked on eBay for them. Can't find them anywhere these days. Why don't they sell those awesome 80s underwear anymore? I want those to return.
Maybe they'll give you the option to do her skinhead, like
or
Alien 3.
What if they include them in like a awesome Alien Isolation mega collection, and you get physical 80s underwear? What if those come in a thing? Would you? Okay,
now I'm buying it. Now I'm buying it, and my pre-order is locked in. So pre-ordering now.
And in Japan, those underwear would have been used before.
Oh, all right. That's enough.
So yeah, I'll say this. They suckered me in. I literally read this. I posted this story, and later on that day I went to GameStop and pre-ordered it. So it worked on me. I got suckered in and did it. I'm so hyped for this game, and you know what? It's a game that very rarely do I get super hyped for SEGA games here lately, and so I'm like, you know what? I have to sit here and support this game. I like the fact that they're coming out with this pre-order content, and it's not just day one DLC that they're making us buy. And so all you got to do is just plop down $5, and you're gonna get it. So I'm cool.
Yeah, it's actually the price for a typical DLC, so it's not much of an increase of the regular price, so it's okay. And this is one of the 3 titles SEGA has me hyped about. So yeah,
I've seen some stuff online though, and people are acting like it's this weird, like, dirty thing that Sega and GameStop have been doing, like this idea to try to incentivize pre-orders. I don't see anything wrong with it.
I don't think so also because the game's already cool. People have been talking good about it. It actually won a lot of prizes at E3, so I don't think that's. I think, and it actually is giving us applause about the game, like really having the chance because people were asking to have the original characters in the game, and they actually getting it. I think this is better, like instead getting Ryo Hazuki like years before the game goes out. So I think this is better.
Yeah.
I don't understand all the frustration over it, to be honest, because again, you're going to be able to buy it later. I talked to you about this, Chris. I know several times that I don't buy stuff immediately when it comes out anyway, and I'm still probably not buying this the second it comes out. I'll buy it when it's $20. I'll spend $5 or $10 on a DLC. I'll have spent less than I would have if I pre-ordered it tomorrow, and I'll be happy with it. So it's not that big a deal.
Such a hard man to convince to do anything.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep going. Kopke, I think this next bit of news you wanted to roll with.
Okay, so Fighting Climax, a crossover game between Dengeki Bunko and Sega, which is being released in arcades of Japan. It is a fighting game. So finally, Sega of Japan listened to what people have been asking to, like releasing the game into consoles so they can have it and play it. Otherwise, in another place that's not Japan. So the game is getting a release, a port for PS3 and Vita. The game will be released in fall this year, and the port is being released by French Red Development. So these guys have been made another game, which is Melty Blood for Type Moon, which is a nice fighting game based on the anime and manga of the same name. And they're handling the port because the original arcade game was made by ASCII Media Works and Sega. And the original arcade game runs on Sega AllNet system, which is a system which you download the games into your local arcade and allows you to play different titles. And the Sega Multiprice has been between Guilty Gear, SASRT, Fighting Climax, and there's another one from M2 which I cannot remember, but all of these are fighting games. So the reception about this game has been really good. Like, Japanese have been playing this a lot, and a lot of people here in the West have been asking for this game. The game won't be localized, but it's really nice to know that it's getting a PS3 and PS Vita release, because that way people will be able to import it. And, PS3 and Vita don't have region locks, so expect a lot of imports this title specifically, because people have been really asking about this game, and it has been like a lot of coverage everywhere, and it has a lot of key features that will make this a nice title. Like, Sega hasn't released a nice fighting title in years, and this is one of them, and people have been expecting it. It has cool animations. It has a really nice combat system, and it has a lot of anime characters that are really popular now. So it has the possibility for being one of Sega's strong titles in the recent years. This is one of the 3 titles I've been so hyped about, and I'm definitely importing this game. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I don't import games very often, if ever, but this is a game that I could see myself importing. I would have loved to have imported Hero Bank also, had Sega or Nintendo, I should say, made the 3DS region free, but unfortunately I can't do that. So our next bit of news that I want to talk about, I think is pretty interesting. A couple days ago, on July 11th, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly. That way everyone's not looking at me when I talk. So a few days ago, GameStop tweeted out just simply, "What's your favorite Dreamcast game?" Now, this is pretty. I think it was kind of interesting that they would tweet something like that, because, as you all know, GameStop doesn't sell Dreamcast games and haven't sold Dreamcast games since probably 2002, maybe 2000.
A little bit
Or
later than
later?
that, probably.
You
Yeah.
think so?
Yeah.
So 2004, no later than that, right? So
Yeah,
I
maybe.
can be safe to say that. So in about 10 years or so, they haven't sold any Dreamcast games. So, but there's been rumblings in the past that GameStop might get back into the retro video game business. And I haven't heard anything in a few months or so, but they tweeted this out, and so I thought it was interesting. And I asked on Twitter a little bit ago, how would you feel if GameStop got back into the Sega Dreamcast business? And we've got a lot of feedback on that, and I just wanted to quickly go through and read a couple of tweets, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Hugh Johnson, who was on the show last week, which I thought was a really fun show where we went and talked all about Dreamcast and Saturn wrestling games, said, you mean I could finally trade in my copies of Skies Arcade and Shenmue for 25 cents? Sign me up! I thought that was pretty good. Let's see. Someone, Guitar Anthony, wrote back and said, no, it might be time for a place like Funko Land that focused on retro games to happen, but GameStop are not the ones to do it, which is kind of weird because GameStop owns Funko Land. They bought them out back when...
Yeah. Long time ago.
The whole Babbages, all that kind of software, etc. So they own them. But I think that's a kind of a neat idea that maybe GameStop would bring back maybe FuncoLand and have it as maybe a retro game store. That maybe they could do that with all those GameStop stores that they have on every block in America. Or
yeah, 2 in every mall sometimes.
2 in every mall.
There's one upstairs, 1 downstairs.
1 in the parking lot. Let's see here. Let's go. At DS Kiki said, would be cool, but I see them trading copies of Sonic Adventure for $1 and selling them for $25. F that. Cisco E said, I would love it, however unlikely it may be. Looking for Mars Matrix, Street Fighter Third Strike, and Cannon Spike to add to the collection. Keep looking for those because I doubt those would be there.
Yeah.
I
had all 3 of those and sold them. Right.
And traded them into GameStop. They might.
No, not GameStop. It was a local store. But
I wanted to. We talked a little bit about this off the air, but yeah. So I want to broach that idea to you guys. What would you think if GameStop got into the retro game business and started selling Dreamcast games again?
I'd be pretty happy with it. That'd be fine with me. I expect they would do it through the website more than they would actually do it in their stores. I know we were talking off air a minute ago about how some of them still carry PlayStation 2 games, but they don't really carry the cases and things like that because they take up too much space. I'd be really surprised if they started carrying very many retro games that take up space on their shelves. Mm-hmm. But they've got a huge stock of those things, like you were saying earlier, just sitting around. So if they listed them on a website, sold them through the website, that would kind of make sense. But any other way, I'd be really surprised if they established a whole new store, a whole new line of stores, or took up space on their shelf for Dreamcast or anything before that.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, Software Etc. Would update their inventory, their online inventory, every day at a certain time, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. It was just really, really early, but they would update it every single day. And it was great because I would go on there, and this was well known within the Cheap Ass Gamer community. So everyone would go in there early in the morning, and you'd have a list of games that you really want and you were trying to find. And it was great because they kept a lot of those old school games, and you could get Dreamcast games and stuff like that. And so you could fill out your collection that way, and a lot of times the prices were really good. So it was just a race. You'd have a list of games that you wanted, and it was a race against everyone else to try to find that game you wanted, get it in your cart, and get it purchased before someone else got it before you. Sometimes you got the game you wanted, sometimes someone was faster than you. But it was always really fun to find what new games got added to the inventory, what the prices were, and if you were able to get your hands on one. So I could imagine it might be something similar to that. It would be fun if something like that came back and GameStop would kind of do that. I would love if GameStop kind of went back to the retro stuff and started putting these games in store. However, it might be it might not be as practical for the reasons you said, Blake. But it would be great just to be able to go into your local GameStop and look through some of these classic games. Maybe they could have those a clear glass case like you see at a lot of retro game stores where they have kind of the rare games that you can kind of look at and be like, okay, that copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga or something like that. I really keep my eye on that. But those are fun things to do, and I always prefer the feel and the support that you can give to a local mom and pop retro game store. However, there just aren't many of those around today, and there's literally none close to me where I live. And so, other than Best Buy or something like that, GameStop's really my only option. So if GameStop could start expanding its library again and bringing back some of these retro games, I would really be I would love it. And if I could trade in some of my old, or I should say new PS4 games and trade those stuff in and get like some Dreamcast games or some Genesis games, hell yeah, I would do that. Kopke, do you guys have GameStops in Mexico?
No, we have just Blockbuster for it, and it really
Holy
sucks.
Shit, Blockbuster still.
We don't have GameStop. We don't have actually a good place to buy retro stuff. And if we get retro stuff, we get it at really expensive prices. Otherwise, than eBay or Mercado Libre, which is the equivalent which is the eBay for Latin America, we don't have like any option to get like retro games. You have to make a deal with black market or with friends of yours to actually get those games. So, like having the option not to pay the high amount of eBay and doing it at GameStop, it would be better.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see on that. We'll keep a close eye. Hopefully, GameStop could bring back that, because, like we were saying before, I think GameStop probably has a gigantic warehouse sitting somewhere with a ton of old games, whether they be Dreamcast, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, Saturn. They're there somewhere, and I would rather go and be able to see that catalog than try to fight some of the prices on eBay. So hopefully that happens. It's not going to be a bad thing if it does. You know what I mean? It's not going to be bad for us if GameStop starts offering some of these games. If anything, hopefully it could drive down some of the prices on eBay.
Yeah,
that would be a good thing. So
the only thing it'd be bad for is the people that do sell their games back there. But let the idiots sell them, and then we'll buy them. So it's not a problem.
Yeah,
you want to sell your copy of Mars Matrix for $1? We'll buy it for $40. Thank you.
Absolutely, and then you don't have to worry about those shitty resellers that go on Craigslist and go and buy up like these collections, and then they flip them on eBay or something else for like double or triple the prices. That's essentially what GameStop's doing, but at least hopefully these people can get better prices, and then it gives us a central location where we can go and find some of these classic games. So.
But it's corporate, Chris, so it's inherently evil.
Fucking GameStop, you bastards! I'm supposed to hate you.
Yeah.
Because people tell me to on the internet. So.
Well, if they pull out the model business, like concentrating all the retro titles and selling them online or like at the local stores, I mean, that would be a good business.
Yeah. All right, I think that's going to wrap up our news now. We're going to get into a little bit of a feature discussion, and we want to kind of revolve this feature discussion on Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed and Mario Kart 8. Now, Blake has been, he's written a two-part series on the website about how each game or series could learn and make itself better by adapting things from the other game. So Mario Kart could learn a few things from Sonic Racing, and Sonic Racing could learn some stuff from Mario Kart 8. So I'm going to let you, Blake, start us off and kind of lead us into this conversation.
All right, cool. Well, first of all, those two articles took me about a month to write. So I'm not going to belabor those points all the way. Hopefully you'll check them out on the website, but I'm sure a lot of people want us to go through and say, which game is better? Is Mario Kart 8 a better game, or is Mario All-Star Racing Transform a better game? Honestly, I think you're going to be fine picking either one if you are forced in that situation of picking one or the other. They're both super excellent games. You're going to have a great time playing either one. I really feel like whichever one is better might depend on what kind of gamer you are. I'm a little bit more of a single-player gamer. I don't play games online very much. I don't play couch co-op or couch multiplayer all that much. And for that reason, I think over the years, as that's how I play games, I will come back to the Sonic game because of the World Tour in it. It's got that big long single player, almost like a campaign, but it's always little missions you have to complete, and that's how you unlock everything. It's really hard. I wish it was a little bit easier, but I just see myself coming back and playing that. Whereas in Mario Kart, you unlock stuff pretty easily, pretty quickly, and you basically have the tracks to play through, and that's how you unlock it. You'll just be playing through the same track until you have everything. So if you're someone who's playing multiplayer, that kind of stuff doesn't bother you all that much. But not only that, with the roster that they have in Mario Kart, some of the things I like playing kart racing games for is playing as different characters and going, okay, I'm going to try this as this character now. I don't give two rat's balls about any of those characters in the Mario Kart games. And that's not just because I'm a SEGA fan. It's because Metal Mario's not that endearing of a character. The Koopa Kids are not an endearing character to me. Why are all those, filler characters in that game? And it's one of the points I brought up in the article. Put some different characters in that game. Even some of the old Mario Kart games have better diversity of characters in them. And if you're not going to go into your full Nintendo catalog of pulling characters like Kirby, or even Pushmo, putting a new character in there, there's at least pull characters from the older games. Birdo is not in the newest game. Rob the Robot's not in the newest game, and instead you get Pink, Gold Peach, Metal Mario, the Koopa Kids, a whole bunch of throwaway garbage that.
Green Mario, Yellow Mario.
Yeah, Yellow Mario, Purple Mario, Mario with a raccoon head. I don't know, but that's exactly the route they take every time, and I don't understand that. So I would like them to adjust their character roster, and I would like to see, more than anything in a Mario Kart game, something as a single player for me to feel engaged with beyond just playing through the tracks over and over again until I unlock everything. Because as soon as I unlock everything in that game, which is just going to be a grind session over and over again, I'm going to be done with that game. I don't really have anyone here to play it with. My wife plays it a little bit, and playing online is just, it's playing Nintendo games online.
Yeah, I was thinking about this subject as I was going about my day-to-day, and I really got to thinking about Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed and Mario Kart 8, and looking at basically the audiences for those games. Now, Mario Kart 8 knows its audience and is very geared towards that Nintendo crowd. I mean, that's pretty much what most Nintendo games are. They have a very specific target demographic that they are shooting for. Now, I was thinking about that, and I know the type of people that Nintendo is shooting for with that, and then I started thinking, okay, what was SEGA and Sumo Digital really going for with Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed? And there's a ton of SEGA fan service in there, so you have these SEGA fans that they're definitely shooting for, but then you also have the Wreck-It Ralph character in there, and some of the other like funny, cute characters. So there's those little kids that it's trying to appeal to, and then you also have like the Danica Patrick stuff. So you're trying to appeal to maybe like an older audience. They're bringing those in, but then you look at the gameplay. The gameplay and being able to unlock things is incredibly tough in Mario Kart 8. Like, you essentially have to get in like first place in some of the World Tour modes to unlock things and to advance. So you're right there. You're eliminating like the younger crowd, because for them to really advance and unlock all the stuff, they've got to play on like hard modes, and they've got to be really good. And so it's just weird. It seems like there's not a real strong target of where they're going for and who they're wanting to appeal to with Sonic Racing. So I think that was one of the biggest things that Sumo Digital had, that probably more than anything else, I think they kind of fumbled with. There was just I can't see like who they're really trying to appeal to, and when they don't have a strong audience or a focus on who they're trying to appeal to, I think some of the gameplay and some of the features, it's just a little scattered. It seems like they're trying to just like, let's try to get everyone into this game, and by doing that, you get a game that's kind of unfocused from a gameplay standpoint and a feature standpoint and character standpoint.
Well, I think it was more aimed towards a bigger picture because Mario Kart is only for Nintendo platforms, and All-Stars Racing Transformed was for all the platforms. And by doing that, you have to appeal to a bigger audience, and I think Sumo really did a good job on that. And actually, what's boring about Mario Kart for most of the people who are not into Nintendo consoles is that Mario Kart is a little bit boring because it's not challenging enough, and All-Stars Racing Transformed is challenging enough. Like it has you like spending hours like trying to get all those hidden characters, because you can beat the game without getting all the characters, but getting all the characters is like the extra challenge stuff.
I've given up trying to unlock some of those characters. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, I haven't given up yet, but I do rage quit, and then I come back every now and then and try to get a few more stars here or there and get somebody else. But
hard, but it's really worth it. I mean, all the extras for the Sega fan base, and it actually has that Sega spirit, like making challenging and tough games. Like Shinobi is a really tough game to beat most of the time. Like it has that spirit, and I think they really accomplished well in doing that. And Mario Kart gets like a little bit boring once you beat all the races, and also Racing Transformed doesn't. And it's really amazing that Ultra Racing Transformed being released like 2 years ago, it's still being played, and Mario Kart just getting like a few time, and Ultra Racing Transformed is still there. Like Mario Kart has the advantage of knowing what All-Stars Racing Transformed did right, and who knows? I think that if Sumo releases a new one, it will be even better than these two games.
Right. Yeah, and we'll get into that in a minute. But it's interesting for me because once Sonic Racing Transformed came out, I bought it on Xbox, and I played it with my kids, and we played it. I have it on tons of systems now. I have it on pretty much everything, I think, except 3DS. But I played it with my kids, and we had some fun with it. But they only played it for maybe a week, and they put it down and went to something else. Now, once Mario Kart 8's come out, they have been playing that game since it was released, and they're playing it. They're playing it right now. They're all upstairs playing it. So there's something about Mario Kart 8 that's resonated with young kids that has hooked them and make them kept wanting to play it. And I think it's just the ease of entry into that series where it makes it really easy to pick up and play. You don't have to master it to be good at it, and the gameplay is really fun. Now that's the gameplay in Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed is amazing. I love it. It's really fun, but it's a lot more technical. It's a lot more harder. It's more hard to really get good at, and everything else is to be able to unlock everything. It's it takes a lot more skill and patience to do. I think Mario Kart has done a better job at appealing to those that younger audience and get it and get them to play, and that's why my kids are still wanting to play that game, and they gave up on Sonic Racing. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Mario Kart's definitely a more approachable game. I mean, think about All-Stars Racing Transformed. There's 3 different physics engines basically at play with your kart and your hovercraft or boat, and then as your airplane. So you have to really master all 3 of those different play styles, and you're not given a choice even in a game like Diddy Kong Racing, where you could do one or the other. So I don't like playing as the planes. I only want to play as hovercraft. That's all I like best. You have to do really well at all 3 of those. The change between them sometimes is a little bit abrupt, and it's a little bit to ask for a younger audience to jump in and master all of those things, where even when I first started playing it several times, I'm overturning, underturning, especially as the plane. There's a lot of finesse involved in flying the planes that I just can see a younger child or even someone not experienced with games as much turning into a wall, running into stuff, doing all kinds of crazy things. I don't have a problem with Mario Kart.
It should tell you something in a game when in the options menu it has an option to turn on like plane help mode.
Yeah,
so that should tell you something
and the default I think is on. If I remember right, I had to turn that off because I was losing. So why am I losing? Because you can't You don't even know that, but you can't do the drifting in the air, I don't think, quite as effectively when you have that assist on, because it keeps you on a certain path and you can't stray from it. So I was losing hardcore playing at first. I can't do this.
So let's talk about what we would like to see in a sequel. Like, say, Sumo Digital, after they're done with that Forza game that they're working on, God knows why they're doing that on Xbox 360. Well, you got to pay the bills, though, right? You got to get the bills paid. You got to have projects coming through. They had a project on a big franchise, so they took it. But say after they're done with Forza. And it would be funny if their Forza version was better than the Xbox One version. But anyway, what would we like to see in a Sonic All-Stars Racing 3? So I want to kind of pose that to you. But wait. Before we do that, let's go to Twitter really quickly, because we asked that question as our Nerdcast question of the week, and we got some interesting feedback. And while I talk about this, I'm going to share my screen. That way people can read it. Lee Sparks, at Bolt7, one of our awesome retrospective contributors on the site, said, I'd like to see Steve Lysett as a playable character driving a car named the Beer Mobile around a course on Sheffield. that would be amazing. That would be awesome. I think everyone would love to see Steve Lysett come in there. His grumpy old self. That would be great. I would definitely like to see that a lot more than Danica Patrick. Steven came in with a bunch of ideas. Let's see. His first one says, to be honest, it's hard to improve the best karting racing game since Mario Kart Double Dash, but I'd love to see Echo as a playable character in a track revolving around Alex Kidd or Vector Man. Probably his best idea, though, is that I'd like to see Keith Apicary as either an announcer or a playable character. That would be really fun. I would like that. I think Keith Apicary would be just awesome, and he could play. I think he has like a couple different vehicles. I think there was actually that one driving Neo Geo cabinet he had, but obviously that couldn't be in there. At Saturn Memory, say a playable Segata Sanshiro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, the game will sell just by including Segata Sanshiro.
Yeah. Okay, aside from a playable Ryo Hazuki from day one, which I know people would just go ape shit over if that wasn't included, I think at this point, Sumo Digital knows that, okay, if we do one, fucking put Ryo in the game from day one, get those, Sega fans, stop bitching at us. Aside from that,
and Shenmue 3.
What do you guys think? Blake, I'll start with you.
Well, I'll piggyback right on that Ryo comment. I put it in my article, and I'm pretty serious about this. Sega, if you put Ryo in the Xbox version of the game, any of the ones you've already put in, and as DLC, you really could charge $100 for that character, and people would pay it as long as you said that this was going to finance Shenmue 3. That's all you have to do. Say, we will charge you this much, but all the money is going to be going straight into Yu Suzuki's pocket so that he can make this game sort of like a pseudo Kickstarter by using your DLC. Everyone will pay it, and they will buy that character for their friends who refuse to pay it. It will make you money. Anyway, I like the idea of an Alex Kidd stage. That was one of the first Sega games I ever played. So I'd be really, really jazzed to see that. That was a good idea. I don't think we will. There's a lot of other characters and stages that I'm sure would be in my personal wish list that probably wouldn't be in everyone else's. But that one's pretty neat. My biggest thing that I would like to see with this game is don't rush it out in November. If that's your final date, take your time with it. Make sure you get it right, because all the patches and all the things that come out afterwards, Mario Kart doesn't ever have to do that. Their games are almost 100% perfect by the time they get released. Nintendo very rarely has patching issues. And Sega's in a situation right now, I think, where as soon as a game hits, if it's flawed, the gaming media is going to jump on it, and they're going to pounce on it, and they're going to ream them, rake them across the coals for every little thing they do. And I think it'd be more important for them to delay it, make sure it's fine, make sure it's perfect, so that way they don't have any excuses to not give them high review scores. So honestly, that's my biggest thing. I don't need it in November. You can give it to me in March. You can give it to me in April. That's fine. That's really all I really want to see.
Yeah.
It was the perfect game. Don't wait.
Pay for it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Blake, because if you look at the the current crop of Sega games out there, the franchise that Sega's been releasing here in the last few years, Sumo Digital has done a great job at creating a reputation for this series of being very high quality. When you get and you think of a Sonic All-Stars Racing game, you think this game is really good, gameplay's really fun. If you're a Sega fan, it's a must-own. You have to have these games. So you've got to take the time on that and make sure that it's a quality game from when you release it, because you can't lose that reputation for this franchise. It's got to stay as a strong quality game, and that goes across the board for Sega, and that's one of the things that Sega struggled with, especially with the Sonic franchises, releasing high quality games and maintaining that quality. And so I think that's an excellent point that you've got to do that with a potential sequel. I would like them to maybe kind of step away from the whole transformed thing. I think it was a good idea to help separate it from the first game and from other kart racers out there, but maybe find a way to kind of bring things back and more focus. Or if you're going to keep it, find a way to make the transitions more fluid between transforming from a kart to a boat to a plane, for the reasons that Blake said. It's tough because the physics are different between the two. Find a way to streamline that and make it easier. I think that's a great idea to do that. I would also like to see them just stay away from coming up with these weird marketing ideas of like Danica Patrick and all this other stuff. If they're going to come up with a new game, they need to really focus on, okay, who's our audience, and let's go get those guys. Well, one of the things that I think would have been an amazing idea, okay, they had the Wreck-It Ralph license. They should have went to McDonald's or Burger King and did exactly what Nintendo is doing right now. I'll show you. They have these characters in every Happy Meal, the Mario Kart characters, and this is an amazing way to appeal to young kids. My kids love these Mario Kart characters. These should have been in Happy Meals or Burger King meals, and they should have been the Sonic All-Stars Racing characters. And it would be great if they could transform into each one. Like you could start with a car, transform into a boat or a plane or whatever. It would have been amazing, and that would have been a great way to market to younger people who you could get to buy your game. So instead of going and getting Danica Patrick or those weird YouTube guys, I forget what they're called.
That was a charity thing, though, right? The YouTube
right.
one?
It was, yes.
That's fine. I'm actually happy that they did that. That actually helps their image, which is kind of what Sega needs, I think.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I would just like them to get a better focus on who their target audience is, and then come up with better marketing ideas to do this. Because I think something like what Nintendo did, partnering with like Burger King or someone, would be an excellent idea to do that. So that's my idea. I'm just looking at it from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
Find your target audience, Sega, Sumo Digital, and do that. And hopefully Sega doesn't put any crazy Danica Patrick style ideas on the table for a sequel. So
yeah, the sad thing about that is that for whatever it was worth to them, I don't know if they sold any copies of the game because Danica Patrick was in the game, but it left them open to ridicule that they would not have been open to otherwise. And a lot of people were going to just automatically discount the game because of stuff like, oh my god, that's the one you play as Danica Patrick, right? Ho ho ho. Like, all right, nothing against her, nothing against marketing, but you could have had a slot in there, and you could have filled it with anybody, Rio or ToeJam and Earl or some other character, and it wouldn't have been a thing. No one would have said anything about it. It just would have been another cool character to play as. Instead, it delegitimized the game in the minds of some people who saw that and only saw that. That became the buzz. That was what it was marketed as the Danica Patrick is in the game with Sonic. And I just don't know who that really appealed to.
It seemed like it was more of like a cheap way. And I don't want to say it's a way to get the game out there to an audience that may not have been talking about it beforehand. But like you said, I highly doubt that audience is going to go out and buy. Like the NASCAR fans aren't going to go and buy this game because they can play as Danica Patrick. But it was a way to get it into the national conversation that it wouldn't have been into otherwise. So I think maybe that's what they were looking for. Let's get it, get it out there, get people talking about it, but I don't know if it really translated to much anything. So I would love to have seen some sort of like after action report on that. Like, did this did this Danica Patrick idea, did it come and was it successful? Did it meet our goals? I would love to see something like that. So Sega, if you want to share that with us, just send it over. It's SegaNerds@gmail.com. We'll take a look at it. And, I would love for that. So please.
After action report. 3 improves, 3 sustains. Go.
Kopke, we haven't gotten to you yet, but I would love to hear your thoughts on what you would like to see in a sequel to the Racing Transform series.
Well, the first thing is I hope Sega and Sumo include everyone in the same release at the same time on the next title, like having PC at the same time with the console ones, and also the Japanese audience, because it really was a hit on Japan, which is weird, like having a Western game making it big at Japan. It's really cool that it happened, and it's really cool to include those guys because we rarely get games from there. It's fair that they get our games and they start realizing that Sega has that potential, and we really care about their characters. So I hope that next time you get like all the releases at the same time. I don't care if they delay the release, but as long as everyone can get it at the same time, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And it actually will help the game a lot more because you will have a bigger fan base playing that game at the same time. It actually helps more the game and buying it and earning at the release date. So I think that will help them. And there's no rush for the people because we already know we're getting a high quality game. So I don't think that the Sega fan base will be hard on them if they delay the game or stuff like that. And before that, I think that Sumo has won a reputation to stand for. So Sega should be more open to them at what they pitch to them. Like, a couple of months ago, Steve Lysett said that it would be interesting for them to release a fighting game. So we're going to be all for it if they ever make it. And we will be really happy to play that because we will know that it will be a quality game. Another thing I would be wanting to see, I know it's hard, but if it happens, it would be like the best thing they could do, like making it cross-platform racing, like being able to compete PC versus console versions, or even between the console versions, or making like the beta playing against the PS3 or PS4 players. That would be really, really cool. Like having this kind of interconnection between 3DS and Wii U and stuff like that, or some kind of interaction. It would be nice if they add up. And aside from that, there will be like personal requests, like having this After It Beats track, like a race track, like would be really fun if you would be just like floating in the space and being able to race in the race game, or having characters like Wonder Boy or stuff like that, or Puyo Puyo, which people have been asking a lot, or a Fantasy Zone stage, which could be related to.
That would be awesome.
To either the Space Harrier or Planet Harriers or even Opa Opa. You have like 3 franchises just in a Fantasy Zone track. That would be really amazing. And I know that Sumo will surprise us if they ever make another title of this. So we can be pretty confident, and that's gonna be a really nice title. And they will be making it better than the previous one. So. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I want to broach this subject to you guys, and we'll quickly run through it and get on to what we've been playing. But say Sumo Digital's not available. Say they're working on, this Forza game for the foreseeable future, and they have another project lined up after that. But Sega is like, hey, we can't wait on you guys. We want another, Sonic All-Stars Racing game coming out. Where does Sega move to? Do they develop internally, or is there a developer out there that you guys think would be able to successfully take this franchise and take it to the next level? What do you guys think?
Ooh, it would be hard to choose because Sumo has made has really raised the bar for everyone else who wants to really make this. It's quite a challenge. So whoever Sega chooses for this, it has to know that it has to make it better than the previous one. it would be tough. I think maybe Codemasters would be like a nice racing development team that could take the flag that Sumo left, but it would be really hard to replace what Sumo did.
What do you think, Blake?
I'm not sure. I don't know developers super well. I don't know how many people they still have in house at Sega from like a decade or 15 years ago. If they still have anyone from Hitmaker that worked on Crazy Taxi, anything like any of those guys, I think they would be good people to bring in. Anyone that has a lot of good arcade racing experience, and Sega certainly has a lot of that. So people that were involved with Daytona, that sort of thing. If they're going to partner with another. I didn't know she was down here. They're going to partner with another developer outside. Again, they're going with the arcade experience. They've worked with Namco before. I'm sure there are some talented people at Namco that can help them develop a racing game if they need to poach a few people. So those are just ideas, but hopefully that they will get Sumo to do it, because I think they are the best available right now.
I think this might be sacrilegious to say. People might scream that I'm crazy, but I'm going to just throw something out there. What if they went and partnered with Nintendo's EAD developer, the division that made Mario Kart 8, and they said, let's make a Sonic versus Mario racer, and they took all the characters, put them together, and brought that racing transformed style of play where you're transforming all the things, but also brought in some of the Mario Kart, like the approachability, the ease of entry, and some of that Nintendo style to the game. That would be interesting to see, and maybe Sega and Nintendo could collaborate on the next Racing Transform game.
That would hurt my feelings, but it will be a really nice game.
First of all, I don't think that would ever happen. And even if it did, let's again look at the rosters. You have your 20 characters or 30 characters. You've got your 15 very interesting Sega characters. And you've got 15 different versions of Mario. I don't know. I'm not really seeing that as being that great. I mean, seeing as how it's never going to happen, I guess we don't have to worry about it. It would be nice to see them meld some ideas and take some ideas from each other, which was the point.
Say that, but, we got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. So.
Yeah, but that wasn't a pre-existing franchise. I think it's a miracle that Nintendo's already broken the mold and let other characters into Smash Brothers, one character at a time, to mix their one franchise. They really only released one of these games per system. There's not been 2 Mario Karts on any system. So we're not going to see another one on Wii U. We've got the Wii U one. To see them decide, well, we're going to do this other one, we're going to blend it with somebody, let someone else come in and take any kind of control away from that, I'd be really surprised. It's a great pipe dream. It'd be really neat. It's a lot neater an idea than snowboarding. But
okay, fine. You poop in my
idea. I know. I don't mean to poop all over it. But
we'll get Gearbox to do it. How about that? That worked out last time.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, let's talk. Let's get into what we've been playing really quickly, and then we'll wrap up the show. Kopke, what have you been playing, buddy?
Well, like I said before, I found these blogs where I found some of the old titles I didn't realize I still had. So I've been playing Strider, which is right here.
Nice.
I've been playing Moonwalker.
He looks so goddamn handsome on that cover too, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like an 80s action movie instead of that ninja.
He's all like in spandex or something.
Yeah.
I want that outfit.
Yeah, and Moonwalker, the first Streets of Rage.
What did? Wait. But why you said Moonwalker? I want to get Blake to comment on this. When you were playing this game last weekend, your daughter walked in. What was the comment that she made?
Oh, yeah, my older daughter. She saw me playing this game. She comes in, she goes, "Hey, Daddy, who's that old lady on the TV?"
That is so great.
I said, well, that old lady is Michael Jackson. Honey.
He's dead.
I didn't like the.
He's so old, he's dead.
I didn't like the controls for this one. I think they could be better responded. I had like kind of a lag or something.
Yeah, it does.
For Streets of Rage, which I really love this game, especially when you're with your brother or somebody to play with. And Hokuto no Kei, aka Fist of the North Star for the Genesis. I didn't remember I bought this game, but I remember playing the Master System one. But I didn't knew I had the Genesis one, so I've been playing this one, which is really nice. Actually, Sega released a Sega Ages version of this one, which is with polygons, and it has almost the same levels and combat system. If you guys have a PS2, buy the Japanese version of the Sega Ages one. It has been remastered and has the characters all in polygons. And I think it doesn't have a region lock, so you can play it too. And like Chris made a interview a week, which you can watch at the YouTube channel, to Greg Johnson, the creator of Toe Jam and Earl. So I started playing again the first one, which I love a lot. I used to play this game with my brother, and because of this game, we get along better because we had a lot of brother rivalry back in the day. So my father came from the States and said, you know, in this game you have to cooperate even if you don't like to. So this game will help you guys to get along better. So we did, and we actually loved this game because of that. It's actually a fun one. It doesn't have that well graphics I was used to back in the day with the Sega Genesis, but the gameplay is so fun and so great. And I actually love the weirdest parts and the animations, and you know the way the presents like trick you and also help you at the same time. And I really love this game. It's really funky, and you know I would love to be a rap master in this one. And because of that, I will also be playing the Toe Jam and Earl 3, which Chris also gave to me, which it's a present I really appreciate because I was never able to buy this one here. It wasn't sold in Mexico. And I really love it because it's a homage to the first one, and it actually has a lot of references here, and you know, having also some other stuff like the Funkapotamus reference by gathering all these record pieces, which is from the second game. And I can see why the press really hate this game because of the camera issues. But aside from that, it's a really nice game. It's a really nice tribute to the first one. You still have the presents, you have these funky missions, you still have the way of the unveiling the map and you know searching for stuff. I really love this game. So if you guys have tried this one, try to get it. It has been underrated and it's a really nice game. I'm a huge fan of the Toe Jam and Earl franchise. So 3 is good. I really love the first one. The second one, not that much, but I really love these games, this franchise.
Yeah, and you brought up a good, you know, you gave me a great way to plug our current contest going on. So if you go onto the site right now, you'll see a Toe Jam and Earl retrospective that I did with Greg Johnson, who is one of the co-creators of the game. Mark Vorsinger was the other one who helped him. I think he was the main programmer on the original Toe Jam and Earl. But we did a retrospective on Toe Jam and Earl where I basically played through the game, and Greg Johnson watched me play, and we just talked about the game. There's some really cool, like, you know, stories that I don't think have really been told about the development of the game. Like, for instance, did you guys know that Left Eye from TLC was going to be Letitia? She was going to voice Letitia in the third game. But unfortunately she passed away. So there's just really interesting little stories like that. So I definitely suggest our listeners go and check that out. But also in that same post, Greg created a trivia contest. So if you think you are up to speed on Toe Jam and Earl trivia, check that out and submit your questions or your answers to seganerds@gmail.com. And we are going to find the ones that are the corrected or correctly answered the most questions, and you can win signed concept art and some signed games of the original Toe Jam and Earl. Mark or Greg and I are working together on that. So definitely check that out. and we'll get on to some other little site stuff in a minute. But hey, Trevor just joined us, and somehow, I don't know what I did, but I just opened the show up to everyone. But hey, Trevor, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, not too bad. Since you popped in on the show, why don't you tell us what you've been playing this week?
Actually, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 on Wii U.
Oh, you could have just missed out on a great conversation we were having about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Doesn't it suck? Isn't Sonic better?
Actually, I'm really enjoying Mario Kart 8. The game is amazing. We've been playing. Actually, I've been having some of my coworkers over like on Thursdays, and we're playing Mario Kart Thursday, and it's been fun. It's been fun. We usually get pizza and just play Mario Kart 8 all night.
I wish I had friends.
They're not my friends that much because I keep on beating them. So it's like.
Oh,
that's funny.
We're just kind of friends.
That's great, but that game is, man, it is such a great local multiplayer game. It's so much fun to have people around. You can play it together. That's awesome.
Well, it's online too. I mean, we play the game. We play the game.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked.
Well, your kid was bothering you. That's what it was.
That's what it was. Damn kids. And I play against them, and they've gotten really good here lately too. And there's times where my sons are beating me, and I get really mad, but I don't let them see. But internally, I just want to punch them in the face because they talk shit to me about it too. They're like, "Oh, Dad, 5th place isn't so bad." I'm like, "You little asshole." Awesome. All right, let's keep it moving. Blake, what have you been playing?
Well, I don't have any neat visual aids. I didn't bring everything down here. So instead, I'll just start with my list here. I finished 3 games this weekend, actually. I completed 3 games, which is maybe a record for a while.
Wow.
One of those was the game of the month. I do have this visual aid, Musha. I did finish that game this weekend, which is the first time I ever beat it, because I didn't even realize that the main character was a female until the end of the game. So, spoilers. The main character was a female.
God damn it!
Spoilers in a very, very plot-centric game. Character in your armor is a female. So, it was good to finally put that one to rest and get a chance to play that one straight through. Another game I finished, which is not really...
You think her mech is supposed to be a female, too? Like a female mech?
Oh, like a Bride of Pinbot looking thing?
Wow, you know what? I'm looking at the cover. It kind of looks like it almost has boobs, if you look at it.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does, Chris.
Well, actually, the female player from Musha is actually the same one from the first title, which is Celeste, and it was called Power Strike in America. And it's the same girl from that series, and it actually has a third part on Sega CD, which is Robo Leste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't remember. I played Robo Leste also. I had that on Sega CD. I just don't remember the character being female. I just don't remember it. So it's just been too long, I guess.
It's Musha's one of my favorite Sega Genesis titles, and I really love that shoot 'em up.
Oh yeah, it's really great. It's actually one of those games that it's expensive to pick up the original cartridge of it, but there's a lot of games I figure are expensive just because they're rare, not because they're very good. This is one that I really think it is a pretty damn good game.
You have the original cartridge,
I do have the original one. It's not complete. I don't have the book. I don't have the manual with it. I do have a case of the game.
For everyone out there, what's your address?
Is 1274. Fuck off. And you do know my address, except you keep
Everyone
losing it.
go steal it from him right now.
Yeah. That's the most
Got more rare games than that.
It's not the computer I'm using right now on this podcast. It's nothing like that. He's
got 10 copies of Panzer Dragoon Saga.
I don't remember telling you about those. But another game I've been playing. I've been playing The Walking Dead. For Xbox 360, I was playing the 400 Days DLC. So I had that DLC for a long time. I just never played through it. So I played through that this weekend. So fun, but again, not a challenge. It wasn't really anything to overcome. It was just something to do.
I haven't played through that DLC yet, but I will say, after beating the main, all the chapters of the original Walking Dead, I cried like a baby. My wife was right there. My wife was right there, and she was making fun of me. I was getting mad. And she's like, "Are you really crying over a video game?" I'm like, "Shut up! Why are you making fun of me?
Yeah.
Man, it tore me up. I'm a crier, though. I cry at lots of movies. There's only been a handful of video games that I've cried on. Final Fantasy II on the Super Nintendo, which I think it was Final Fantasy V in Japan or whatever. I can never remember the translation between the series. But anyway, Final Fantasy II was another game that I cried on. It was when Palom and Porom turned themselves to stone to block the walls that were coming in on the party and were going to crush everyone. They turned themselves to stone, sacrificed themselves for the entire party so that they could keep the rest of everyone alive. During that moment, I bawled like a little girl.
Jesus, spoiler alert on a 25-year-old game, man.
Oh, whoops. This is a spoiler cast today. We're just going to spoil everything.
Yeah. Did you see The Iron Giant, the movie?
You know, I've seen it. Yeah,
Okay.
I have seen it, but I don't know if I've ever finished it. I've seen it.
Okay. You would know because you probably would cry at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's one that really got me. It got me and my brother when we watched it. So, yeah, I'm just curious.
My son always makes fun of me because one of the last Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movies I cried on too at the end. When the mouse, you know, when at the end when the mouse ended up going into the portal or whatever and left Narnia, and I think he got his tail back. After it got cut off in battle. That one got me. It hit me right there. Right there, it got me.
Tailless mice.
Yep. I'm going to make you mad about something in a minute, though.
I know you said you were going to, so I'm going to take as long as I can to. Another game I finally finished yesterday. It took me about 10 minutes. Was Sonic Lost World on Wii U. I finally played through the end of that game and finished that. So I'm not going to spoil who the last boss is, but it takes the IQ of a hamster to figure that one out.
Sonic actually is a girl. At the end, becomes a woman.
Anyway, that's not true. But the other game I played yesterday, I actually played with my daughter. I was going to play something else. I was pulling out the Wii U to play that. My daughter came up and said, Daddy, let's play the Batman game. And when she means the Batman game, she means the Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega Genesis. So we actually played that game. We have to use cheat codes for her because otherwise it gets very difficult. It's a very tough game. And for someone who's 4 or 5, trying to play with one of those big, chunky Genesis controllers, just to look down and move and push the button and, okay, now keep attacking. So otherwise it becomes an enterprise of me just trying to make sure she stays alive. But we still have a good time. We play that one, and we play Captain America: The Avengers a lot. That's probably her favorite game to play.
Hey, man, at least she's coming back and wanting to play these retro games. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually very encouraging. But that's my list for the week. So piss me off.
So, as you know, I've also been playing Musha. It's our game of the month right now. Everyone go out and play Musha and talk about it on the forums. We want more interaction. We want to know what you think of this classic Sega shooter. You can get it on the Wii Virtual Console. $8. You don't have to go spend $300 like Blake did last
summer. I got it for
$20.
$20, 20 years ago.
From a homeless man in New York City.
I beat him to death with it.
Yep. So I also though have a physical cartridge of the game. But I bought mine on eBay for about $20 also. It is a smaller one. It's a one what Blake would call a reproduction cart. He gets so angry at these, but look how cool it is. I actually have a cartridge of Musha in my hands that I didn't have to pay so much for. Look at this. Isn't that awesome, Blake? And it came in this like cute little box right here. Man, you can get them eBay. Tell you what, you can get all sorts of repro.
And that fits in the standard Genesis?
This one doesn't. They don't. In the Model 1 and the Model 2, they will not fit.
Okay.
Only the Model 3 will it fit in. So, yeah. You'd have to file down the sides of it because the sides are just too wide to fit in. So, yeah, you'd have to get an older Genesis.
So what game died to make your game?
I don't know. This is the like the Japanese Mega Drive cartridge,
sure.
right? So I'd like to say something really crappy died, like maybe one of the Romance of the Three Kingdom games that they love so much in Japan. Maybe one of those died. So I don't want to say that they died. They sacrificed it. It sacrificed itself like Parliament Porum did, so I could have this copy of Musha today. So happy endings for everyone. There we go.
And you could have still bought it up for $8 on Virtual Console.
I could have, yes, but then I wouldn't be able to look at it on my shelf, and I wouldn't be able to play it on my Genesis 3 either. He gets so angry. So
just put it in the case on your shelf. Put the Musha thing on there, and just inside for a little ticket says you have this game on Virtual Console. Fuck.
hey Blake, let's come over Saturday night. We'll do our first Saturday night Sega, and we could play Musha together.
Yeah, then we can bury it when we're done.
What?
Because it's a dead Franken game.
You know what you need to do then? You need to write like an opinion piece for Sega Nerds and talk about why there shouldn't be.
I actually did write one. I just haven't posted it yet. I wrote it a few weeks ago.
I want to know. Maybe it will sway me to get rid of this copy of Musha. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I actually wrote it. I thought this is way too fucking long. There's no way anyone's gonna read to the end of this.
Graham has written like 3,000 word reviews before, and it drives me crazy. So, yeah. Anyway,
maybe I could parse it down to 3,000 words.
Jeez, longer than that? Holy cow!
I don't remember how long it is. It seemed long to me, and if it seemed long to me, it's too long.
Yeah. Let's quickly do some parting shots. Anyone have anything that they want to say before we get going? Anything anyone missed out on?
Yes. Yeah, go Germany, win the World Cup.
Trevor, you been watching World Cup?
No, I haven't. At work, it was like they were streaming it at work and stuff. I don't know, soccer with me is not the greatest of things. So
I'd rather watch midget golf. Midget soccer, I would watch. I would watch that if midgets played it. That would be fun. Wouldn't that be fun? But they played with like oversized beach balls. That would be so cute. I would love that. And then they did the World Cup that way. America midgets versus Mexican midgets. Pride of the nations on the line. Let's do that. All right.
Well, I've got something here.
Okay.
So I just want to talk briefly about the big announcement from Ed Boon this week that Raiden is confirmed for Mortal Kombat 10. I'm very ecstatic about that. That's kind of an obvious pick, but I'm glad he decided to celebrate this week, considering that the 9th this week was Raiden Day. I'm sure everyone celebrates Raiden Day in their own way every year. So I thought that was very cool. China. Yeah. Very cool they did that. For those of you that don't know the background behind Raiden Day, it is July 9th, and the reason why it is July 9th is because in the original NBA Jam arcade game, you could play as Raiden. You put in the initials R-A-D and the birthday of July 9, and that is how you unlocked Raiden. Whoa. So every year I celebrate Raiden in my own personal way, my favorite Mortal Kombat character, and I just thought it was really, really interesting that they decided to release that this week. I'm sure Ed Boon doesn't care about my Raiden Day celebration, but it was fun.
So do you play NBA Jam and play as Raiden? Is that what you do?
In the arcade game, yes, you could. You'd play as Raiden.
No, but I forgot what you personally do to celebrate. You just play Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, typically something just Raiden related. I'd play Mortal Kombat. I don't have an arcade cabinet in NBA Jam, so I can't.
I thought that you maybe make you and all your family dress up as Mortal Kombat characters and you reenact the movie.
You know, I actually do have a Raiden costume for a little kid. I've had it since I was I'm 15, but it only fits someone at 5 or 6. I'll probably put my daughter in at some point. I might be really mad about that. But yeah, I could do that. I did have a Raiden costume when I was in high school.
What happened?
I'm sure my parents threw it away. I don't know.
Oh. Parents, the worst. Anyway, I think it's going to wrap it up. We also have a couple other contests going on. So we have that Toe Jam and Earl thing that you can get in on, and we're also going to be giving away some more of the Ducks or Dukes games. I have a ton of them over here. Let's see here. We have Redux Dark Matters, a special edition in one of these metal things. We also have a couple, I guess these are standard edition Redux Dark Matters that we're going to be giving away. So look for that in the coming week. We're going to be posting the next contest and how to win those games, you definitely want to get on those. Those are some pretty expensive Dreamcast shooters there. So before we go, look at this Toe Jam Perler bead art that I made.
It's quite the third leg you gave him there.
Oh yeah, extra long. Quite the thigh standard.
Small.
That one's too easy. Low hanging fruit.
I really wanted to bring that up with Greg Johnson, but I thought that the conversation might get really weird about that. So like, why did you give Toe Jam a third leg? Maybe next time we have him on, we'll have to ask that. So, as always, follow Sega Nerds. You can find us on Twitter. At Sega Nerds. Go to Facebook. It's facebook.com/theSegaNerds, youtube.com/user/Sega Nerds, I believe. Go to the website, www.com/SegaNerds. Wow, that was...
Yes, go there.
Go there. SegaNerds.com. Let's just keep it at that. Let's keep it easy. I don't know where that came from. We also need some reviews. Go on iTunes. Go on Stitcher. We're available there. Give us some reviews. Tell us what you think of the show. Even if it's not an awesome 5-star review that we want, if you think it's a 1-star podcast, tell us that, rate us that, and tell us why. We want some honest and critical feedback. Yeah. So I think that's going to do it for us. We'll be back next week, and I promise to have another amazing reproduction cart for Blake to get mad at. How about that?
Yeah, and also SG-1000's birthday is on July 15th, so be sure to celebrate it.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll have another one of the Ages of Sega. The next one of that. We'll have to see if Zachary's going to do that. Go watch that. That's a great series on our YouTube. We also had Roger Craig Smith interview on YouTube. So go there, check out our YouTube videos. We got a ton of great videos on there that people may not know about. So go do that. And instead of watching the World Cup, fuck the World Cup. Go watch our videos on YouTube.
Yeah, America's not in it anymore. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to do it for us. We will see you next week. Take it easy and go play some Sega.
Yeah. And watch the World Cup.